coming to celebrate what a great thing it is for our community to be part of this elite group of schools across the country. My name is Alejandro Gonzalez. I'm the executive director here at the Idea Center, now part of the Blackstone LaunchPad network. We're also joined by our colleagues from Florida International University, President Jessel and his team, who are also joining the Blackstone LaunchPad network. And together we're coming to celebrate what a great thing it is for our community to be part of this elite group of schools across the country. I want to go ahead and introduce now our college president, Madeline Pumariega, who will offer some welcome remarks.
Thank you. Let's give a warm welcome to Alejandro Gonzalez. Alejandro really has hit the ground running with our Idea Center, and we're so fortunate to have Alejandro on our team. What a wonderful morning, and it's wonderful for lots of reasons. It's wonderful because our students are here. I want our presidential scholars and rising Black scholars and honors college students to kind of wave at everyone. If we didn't need a reminder, you are our reminder every single day of why we do this work and why this work is so important. To the Blackstone leadership team, thank you so much for your investments in Miami-Dade County. Investing in this kind of partnership is investing in our entire community. Both of our mayors are passionate about making sure that Miami-Dade County is for everyone, that the city of Miami has paths for every student, that they can come here to dream and to achieve and to innovate and to inspire and be part of this ecosystem. So we're so fortunate to have great city and county leaders. I know that that isn't the case in every community. But most importantly, what I'm very proud of is our partnership with Florida International University. Yeah. That's right. At Miami-Dade College and at FIU, we know that we are the path to opportunity for our entire community. Working hand in hand with our school district, and our members are here, and I'd like to just claim Luisa Santos is also an alumnus of Miami-Dade College. The pathway to greatness begins here. And Robert Alonso is also an alumni of Miami-Dade College. So they both serve, and so important. But this partnership is critical because as Miami-Dade County continues to be that beacon of hope for our community, a path to economic prosperity, we know that this community is built on entrepreneurs. It is built with an entrepreneurial mindset. When people say, what is so special about Miami? What is special about Miami is the people. And it's the people that make this city and this county thrive, and it happens to be with a mindset of entrepreneurs. And we've approached that at the college in that same way. We know that entrepreneurs just don't launch from a business school. They launch from our medical campus as healthcare professionals. They launch in the arts. They launch in the sciences. That it's building that mindset that at Miami-Dade College and at FIU, both of our institutions are built on academic excellence and innovation, ensuring that students have the academic skills to be successful. They have, most importantly, the entrepreneur skills, design thinking, communication, teamwork, that skill set that's critical in being able to ideate and innovate and design and build businesses. And then most importantly now, digital skills, whether it's cybersecurity, AI, data analytics, or cloud computing, that we're also supporting the tech ecosystem by ensuring that our students have those skills. This investment helps us do this at scale. Being part of the network is special, not just because of the monetary investment, but even more special because of the ecosystem that we join, that we learn from one another, that we learn from the experts across the country and part of that network. We are so inspired to be doing this work together. We don't have to do too much for Ken and I to always be tied at the hip and building partnerships that help our students make that transition from our high schools into college and college into our universities and in our universities into work, and from work then buying homes and building prosperity and building businesses right here in our community. So I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to recognize someone who's come into the room very special to us, and that is Senator Ileana Garcia. Senator, thank you for being here with us. I must say that the state of Florida and the investments in workforce and entrepreneurship and tech and innovation, everything around preparing students for the future of work and ensuring that this state, this county, and this city is positioned to thrive, stay competitive, and build economic prosperity has been second to none. So I want to thank the legislature for your investment and leadership in ensuring that as well. So thank you so very much for being with us. So now I get to introduce, yes, we'll give her a round of applause. Now I get to really introduce somebody very special to today and to making sure that this ecosystem is strong, that as Miami-Dade College and FIU plug in to the Blackstone network, that we have the knowledge base, that we have the expertise, and we have the support from the leadership. And so I'd like to ask now Michael Shea, who's the Chief Financial Officer of Blackstone, to come up and share a few words with us.
Thank you so much, Madeline. It's a lot more exciting here than in my office back in New York, so it's great. The energy level is palpably higher, and the energy level is pretty high in our office, so it's just great to be here. So I am Michael Shea, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer at Blackstone, here to represent all of my colleagues here. I want to thank you on behalf of all of my Blackstone colleagues to first Miami-Dade College and Madeline and your team for hosting today's event celebrating the expansion of Blackstone LaunchPad within Florida. I also want to thank all of you who've taken the time out of your busy schedules to be here with us. I was starting to write down names, but then after Madeline covered everybody, I realized that would be to try to do that individually, I'd only offend people. So I just want to thank all of the wonderful people who are here, and of course the leadership of MDC and FIU and all of the elected officials here today. It is really great to be in Florida and in Miami today, not just because it's 80 degrees and sunny, but Miami and Florida are a city and a state to which Blackstone is really strongly committed and excited to be building our own business here, and more on that in a moment. I thought first, for those of you just getting to know our firm, just some quick background on who we are. And I'm the CFO, so I'll throw a lot of numbers at you, but hopefully it'll help. We are the largest alternative asset manager in the world. We actually manage nearly $1 trillion in assets, $951 billion to be exact. We were founded in 1985. We are a public company. We're one of the 100 most valuable public companies in terms of our market value. We are in a number of businesses: real estate, private equity, credit, and hedge fund. Those are sort of the broad categories we talk about, but we have sort of over 50 different investment strategies and funds across those areas. And just to give you an example, in real estate, we're actually the largest owner of commercial real estate in the world. We have the largest corporate private equity fund in the world, the largest allocator of capital to hedge funds in the world. So we operate at scale with leading businesses. And very importantly, most importantly, we invest on behalf of our clients and customers who are pension funds, many of the public and corporate pension funds in the country and in the world, including in Florida, insurance companies, large institutions, and individual investors around the world. We invest in companies and in assets, and we refer to our portfolio of companies. And so our portfolio of companies actually together total, there are hundreds of them, but they together have over $200 billion in revenue collectively, and employ over 740,000 people globally. Of those employees in our portfolio companies, we currently employ, we're proud to say, over 11,000 people, Floridians, across 51 companies in the state. And over time, we're very, very proud to say we've hired over 9,400 veterans and veteran spouses and caregivers out of that employee population. And our goal is really simple in our investments and in how we do business. Our aim is to grow and create long-term value in our investee companies and to support and give back to the local communities where we do business. At Blackstone, at sort of the firm level, we have nearly 5,000 employees. When I joined the firm 25 years ago, we had about 200 across 28 offices around the world. So we're a very global firm. What we saw in Miami is a vibrant, diverse community with a growing technology and financial services ecosystem. And what we saw because of that was a tremendous opportunity to attract talent out of amazing schools like Miami-Dade and FIU and all the other schools and the local talent base into our firm. We're proud to now, after basically 3 years, to have over 200 Miami-based employees at our 2 Miami Central office, which actually one of our real estate funds owns. That 200, I think it's 203 or so, we've actually grown that employee group by over 80% in the last 12 months. And it's now our... When Mayor Suarez claps, I stop and I let I don't step on those applause lines if he's clapping. So, and it's now our, gets even better. It's now our second biggest U.S. office. And it includes many alumni of MDC and FIU. So, and we see more growth ahead. As I mentioned, we always are committed to trying to do good and give back to our communities where we do business. And our Blackstone Miami office has allocated over $300,000 in grants in that time period. And our people, our employees, have dedicated over 230 hours of service since we started that office, and that will just continue to grow. So back to today, as part of our continued support for Miami's expanding and diverse pool of talent, we're so excited that we are now expanding LaunchPad to more schools in the area. Maura will speak next, my partner Maura Pally, about more about the history of LaunchPad in Miami. But I just want to emphasize again how exciting it is to see our Blackstone Charitable Foundation's relationship with Florida-based schools continue to grow with new partnerships like the ones we're here to celebrate today. It's an exciting day for Blackstone. It's truly wonderful for all of us to be here. And today and going forward, share to the best of our ability the intellectual capital we've accumulated at our firm and the power of the relationships that we've built in our network. So. Thanks again, and with that, I'll turn it over to Maura to speak more about LaunchPad's expansion in today's program.
Thank you, Michael, and good morning, everyone. Just echoing Michael, it is so fantastic to be in a room so literally full of both human bodies and just incredible energy. It's really exciting for us to be here. As Michael mentioned, my name is Maura Pally. I'm the Executive Director of the Blackstone Charitable Foundation. And we focus on economic opportunity, job opportunities, career mobility, and healthy communities. And the primary way we do that is through our signature program, LaunchPad. And LaunchPad is an entrepreneurship skills building program to help students build skills that they would need either to start their own venture and become a CEO or to enter the workplace at any time. We know that entrepreneurship skills can really help students be set up for better success. Tenacity, problem solving, communication skills, we all know how valuable those skills are. So at LaunchPad, we focus on empowering students and campus directors, and we are now in 60 colleges across the US, and we actually started here in Miami at University of Miami. We've been in Miami for over a decade with our partners at University of Central Florida, as well as the University of Miami. So it is absolutely our delight and pleasure to be here to announce our $5 million commitment to expanding LaunchPad to additional Florida schools. So in addition to Miami-Dade, we have Florida International University, Florida A&M, Florida Atlantic University, and Florida State University. We have been so warmly welcomed by this Miami community. It is just an incredible experience for us, and in the broader Florida state as well. So we are absolutely grateful for how welcomed we have been and so impressed by the enormous talent and opportunity that we see here. So with that touch on enormous talent, it is a perfect lead-in for our next speaker. It is my great honor to call up to the stage and introduce Mayor Sanchez.
Nice. I'm not gonna correct her. Oh no, really, it's an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you. Obviously, there isn't much to say after you have such amazing speakers like Mara and Michael and Madeline extol the virtues of Blackstone and its commitment to this community, other than to say thank you. Because at the end of the day, Blackstone, which is a worldwide company, could have chosen to do this anywhere, and has had an influence across the world with the Schwartzman Scholars in the Far East, and of course, parochial schools in the New York area, and Steve's scholarship fund for underprivileged students in the city of New York. We believe, as Madeline said, that everyone in this city should have an opportunity to be successful. We call it Miami for Everyone. And without programs like this, it's harder to make that dream a reality. And we rely on companies with a conscience. And Blackstone is one of those. And my chair, Christine King, who's Mara to your left, was the first person that told me that I had to read Steve's book, which, by the way, I recommend to all of you. It's a phenomenal book. And so many of the stories in the book resonated with me, but one of the ones that really resonated with was how he started Blackstone, and how he was raising the first fund, the first $1 billion, when nobody had raised $1 billion fund. And he got a lot of no's, right? And in life, we get a lot of no's when we're trying to do something different and transformational. I see our students shaking their head. But the last one he got was a yes, and it was a transformational yes. It was a yes from a bellwether company that led to sort of this flood of investment in Blackstone, and what created Blackstone. I think it was Prudential, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and that's the grind that we're all in. We're all in a grind. We're all running uphill oftentimes. We all get up tired, sometimes lacking focus or lacking energy, lacking inspiration. And it's moments like this that remind us that we can do it together, and we will do it together, and that nothing can stop this community because of the energy and the enthusiasm that I think Blackstone felt 10 years ago when they started this program, and certainly a few years ago when they, came here and then bought the asset, the property where they're in. And I remember the day that Steve was announcing how much they were going to grow in the Miami office, and you were there, and I remember sort of walking from the holding room to the room where he was going to make the announcement. And I said, Steve, I just really want to thank you, because Blackstone was really the first company that sort of saw this happening. And they were the first big brand, big name that said, hey, we're leaning into this Miami movement. And I said, so, you must have taken, you took a huge risk to be the first one. It's always a big risk to be the first one. And without hesitation, he looked at me and he said, oh no, if we didn't know this was going to happen, we would have never done it. And I think it's a testament to his process, to the way Blackstone makes decisions, which, by the way, is all in the book. So if you want to know how to build a $1 trillion asset company, it's all there. The blueprint is there. So again, I'm just humbled and privileged to serve this wonderful city. I'm humbled and privileged to work on initiatives with Madeline, like the our Venture Miami Tech Fund, Tech Scholarship, where every single Pell Grant recipient in Miami, I want you to know this, Michael, and Steve should know this, every single Pell Grant recipient in Miami that wants to get a STEM degree in Miami-Dade College, in FIU, in Florida Memorial, or in the University of Miami will get it for free. So they'll get into LaunchPad, yes. So they'll get into LaunchPad on the back of hopefully that scholarship, which I think the city contributed $500,000 in the private sector, and the university system stepped up and gave $5.5 million, so an 11-to-1, you like numbers, 11-to-1 leverage ratio, right? Not a bad leverage rate for public funds. And I'll leave you with a couple of statistics, and Madam Senator, thank you for being here. We're number one in the nation in tech job growth. We're number one in tech job migration. We're number one in wage growth. And we've moved approximately, roughly, $2.5 trillion of AUM in the last 30 months to the city. So that in combination with our venture capital growth means that the world is betting on Miami. The world sees this metamorphosis, this inflection point, and the world is leading in, but it's been led by Blackstone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Suarez. It's wonderful that you are here with us today. And to close out our remarks before we get into our panel, I'd like to welcome Mayor Daniela Levine Cava, Mayor of Miami-Dade County.
Thank you. Good morning, Miami. So I just had a revelation listening to my brother, Mayor Francis Suarez, that Miami, the city of Miami, is actually, I would say unofficially, but should be recognized as the capital of Miami-Dade County. Right? Because we all delight in sharing the name. We all delight in sharing the fame. And Miami is, of course, that famous place that people are looking for. But in fact, it's a county, and there's 3 million of us here in Miami-Dade County, and a $10 billion portfolio under my responsibility. I could use some advice, sir. So yes. So I'm really thrilled to be here. We seem to be at Miami-Dade College for all kinds of important announcements. Madam President, you're doing something really right. And yeah. And to your brother, President, only recently confirmed, thank you, President Jessel. We're so happy for this great partnership. Thank you, yeah. And we have our school board members in the House, and we have our state senator in the House, and we have our Madam Chairwoman in the House, and then all of the great supporters, especially the investors in this incredible initiative. But really, today is about the students. So, very good. It's about you. And at this incredible Idea Center, doing a fabulous job, really. And again, I've been here for many important graduations and pitch sessions and all of the great things that have come out of this center. And I just have to say how thrilled I am. I'm really personally thrilled that Blackstone has come to support this new launchpad in the constellation of launchpads. And I was reminded that I was on the board of the first launchpad, which was at the University of Miami. So I feel kind of like full circle to be here with the launch of something even bigger and greater right here. So that is a very, very personal, exciting moment for me. I also am joined here by an incredible economic development team from the county, led by Fernando Casamayor. There he is. And Michael John Green and Anna Chamas is in the audience. And so we're here for internships, for apprenticeships, for jobs when you graduate, and we're all about it because my personal mission in life is talent scouting for world benefit. So you are the talent, you've been scouted, and we are making big investments in you, and we have great
high expectations. So this is a wonderful official welcome to the initiative with Blackstone, but actually I got to know some of the Blackstone local leaders on a cleanup day at Margaret Pace Park. So that was awesome with the water keepers. So kudos to you. So Mayor Suarez talked about how pivotal, how transformational it was for Blackstone to come to Miami, and we totally agree. And then to show the kind of company you are, that you invest not just with your money, but with your commitment to the local community. So I just want to give you a special shout out because that's the team I met, and it was very, very impressive that day. And I know they're looking to really live like they live here. So it's a great, great thing. So entrepreneurship is the lifeline. Even with the Blackstones and other big companies coming, which we embrace, we are still a small business economy. It is the backbone of our community. And I truly believe that we are the most creative, the most innovative place on the planet. Yep. And yesterday I announced that, not very scientifically derived, but my feeling, my impression, I announced that when we launched our incubator virtual Strive 305, which is our small business support arm in the county. So check that out, miamidade.gov/Strive 305, because even you newbies starting up fresh, you could really benefit as well from this virtual tool, which we've done in partnership with many, including Startup FIU, along with your help, President Jessel. So the three pillars of my economic development plan, which fits squarely within what's happening here today, are, and this is our future ready plan, recently unveiled, to complement all of the great efforts that are going on throughout our county. We know that we have to advance our workforce talent. We have the talent here. Thank you for hiring locally. We want our local talent to be recognized and lifted up and benefit the rising tide lifting all boats. That is actually so critical to our community, to our future. And that's the first pillar. The second is our small business economy, which again, you are part of. And we want everybody to purchase locally. We want them to fuel that growth of our next Blackstone here in Miami-Dade County. So we are doubling down on our small business pillar and unleashing innovation. And again, you all are part of that innovation ecosystem, and stay tuned for more announcements when we work together to really move forward the great creativity and talent that is right here in Miami-Dade County. So I'm just thrilled to be here. I'm so grateful to Blackstone for this tremendous, and the foundation for this tremendous investment, and we stand ready to support you 200%. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. And as I ask our panel to come join us on stage, President Pumariega, President Jessel, Mara, and our two student speakers from FIU and Miami-Dade College, Michelle Peñalver and Nicole Guanaco, I would like to, if you would join us on stage for our panel, I would also like to shout out our faculty who are here today. Our work really at this institution cannot be complete without the people who day in and day out are in the classroom doing the work. We have in our audience today our two faculty directors for the LaunchPad in our schools. Here it's going to be Jonathan de Souvray, and at FIU it will be Anna Petratsek, who are both here. So thank you all for joining us. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mara, who's going to lead us into this amazing panel. Thank you.
And now that I've gotten the biggest mistake over with of the morning, I can now move on and do a seamless performance. Mr. Mayor, I am so humbled and embarrassed. I know your name, and I'm a great admirer of yours, so of course I take having a room full of 300 people.
It's his code name.
Thank you for your grace in that big mess up. I apologize. But I'm delighted to be joined on the stage today with our great presidents and two students to talk about what it is like to have a LaunchPad on campus, as well as what entrepreneurship means on campus. And I will for two people who need really no introductions, I will just say, I'll start with you, Madam President, which are words that I like to use. And just what an honor it is to see you as an alum of Miami-Dade, and the first woman president is really remarkable and inspiring and so important. You talked about this a little bit in your remarks, but tell us why entrepreneurship has been a priority for you and what you believe it can do for students.
So I think for us, knowing, the mayor just said it, I think that Miami-Dade County continues to really be a region of small business, right? And small businesses still dominate our economy. And when you talk to business owners, what are the things that they're looking for in students? Of course, they want the academic skills, but time and time again, from business leaders, we always hear communication skills, design thinking, critical thinking, persistence, grit. It's those skill sets that are critical and really transcend business, transcend into healthcare, into tech. And so for us, we approach entrepreneurship skills through the Idea Center, not just a silo of business, but how do we make sure that students within even the learning outcomes have those skills across disciplines. And then most recently, we had our faculty go through AI workshops, artificial intelligence, and then put money aside so that our faculty could create ideas and strategies on how they could use AI to advance student success and learning outcomes. And so I think that's a part of, at our core of innovation and academic excellence, is making sure that we're preparing students for the future of work. And an entrepreneur mindset and skill set is critical to that success.
That's so wonderful. And soon we'll hear from our two students and hear from your perspective. We have both Nicole Wanako, who is an FIU student on the end, and Michelle Peñalver, a student here at MDC. So we're really delighted to have you. And if I can, Mr. President, congratulations on your recent confirmation. Tell us a little bit about what entrepreneurship means at FIU and your campus and how it's been a priority for you.
Well, it's absolutely critical, as Madeline had mentioned, and also our previous speakers. Knowledge base is very, very important, but innovation and entrepreneurship, that is really not in our DNA. You really have to work on that. And we can provide students with the knowledge base that they need today, but remember, knowledge is changing continuously. And I mentioned before, we used to talk about the doubling of knowledge over centuries and decades, and now we talk about the doubling of knowledge in years, months, weeks, and even days. So you have to be a lifelong learner. And so you need to have great training in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship, starting your own business, working in government, working in medicine. Every enterprise needs to be innovative. Every enterprise needs to be entrepreneurial in their approach. So the more that we can do to help students with those skill sets, through the LaunchPad program as one of the newest and key examples, if you will, they are going to do better as leaders in this community. They're going to be the ones that are not only going to be great employees, they're going to be great employers as they expand with their skill sets. So we have to think of this in terms of lifelong learning, and having those skills to do that are absolutely critical. And it's, again, that's not just the knowledge, but the ability and the tenacity to say perseverance, persistence. Those are the key things. Because you look at a lot of the innovation that we've seen in society, it didn't just come naturally. People had to work for it. And you can look at example after example of innovative ideas, entrepreneurial ideas that were shot down immediately. And many people would walk away from that. But we want them to have the skills to persist and continue to develop those great projects and innovative products that are so critical for us in today's society.
That's great. And one of the ways at LaunchPad that we try and instill that is through something called an ideas competition, where we enable students to compete for a prize presenting their venture idea. And both of our students here today participated in that. And Michelle, you participated and you won. Tell us what that experience was like and tell us about your venture idea.
Yes, thank you so much. I think being an entrepreneur is something we have in our soul, in our blood, is that curiosity about the world around us. And I was feeling that, but I didn't know how to name it, right? So when I moved to the US in 2017, I started getting surrounded by entrepreneurs and I started seeing their dynamic and I was like, this is a lot like me, like this is what it is, right? And so then I started MDC and I was amazed by all the resources they have. And I sometimes I want to have more hours on my day to join more and more activities. And then I found the Idea Center and they have this competition and I had this idea in my head for quite a bit. And it was like the perfect moment to expose that idea, and it was only two outcomes. It works or it doesn't. And then I have the space in my head for something else. And yeah, I give it a try. I'm very glad I did. And I won, and I was very proud of it. And I was just like, this is amazing. But I was also amazed to hear the other ideas of the other students. There were some high school students that have amazing ideas, and it gave me hope for humanity. It was like, this is so great, and I'm so lucky, and I'm so grateful to just be part of this.
And tell the audience what your idea was.
Yeah, so I'm a psychology major student, and my idea is called Formula, and it's a platform that provides cool therapy that doesn't feel like therapy. So it's for young people to get that engagement with therapy or with psychology, which is very necessary, but from the positive approach, because we all need that in our life. It doesn't matter our career or profession. We're human beings, and we have this driving feeling inside us, but I believe psychology is kind of like the key to open that box. So that's what the idea is about, to help young people to find their own formula in life.
And Nicole, you also found out about LaunchPad through the Ideas competition and competed yourself. Tell us about what that experience was like and your idea.
So my experience was definitely different. I went to FIU as a transfer student from Miami-Dade College, so I had a bit of both worlds in this. When I first found out about this competition, it was from my professor, Anna, and it was more or less a bit of a surprise because I do talk a lot in her class, but I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur in the beginning. I'm more or less what you say, just as ideas. I'll throw an idea, but sadly I won't fulfill through it. But the thing about LaunchPad that I saw and more or less that they gave me was the steps to take that idea forward. It's one thing to say something like, oh, I have this amazing thought, I can make this as something, and then later on you never do it. And it's another thing to go completely through with it. And what LaunchPad did was they gave me not only the steps, but also the encouragement and more or less more fuel for myself to do this idea. And funny enough, my idea doesn't have anything to do with my major. It was something, I followed the basic saying, see a need, fill a need. When the competition was happening, I was diagnosed with bronchitis, and I hate being sick. I don't think anybody in this room ever likes being sick. So what had happened was I was telling my professor, I'm so sick, I can't come to class, this is horrible, but then she told me the idea, and I thought, well, whatever, I'm in bed, let me figure something out. So then I thought to myself, I don't like being sick, and I wish there was a way someone can tell me not being sick. But then I thought about other people saying, no one likes taking a pill, no one likes taking a shot, or more or less, how can we prevent this from going further? And this is where my close friend, Samantha, came in. Samantha's actually an elementary school teacher who teaches science, and she told me, well, me and my class were looking into this, and we found out that UV light can actually kill the flu virus, as well as detect certain germs in the air, and even cleanse it within 15 minutes. And I asked her, is it harmful? She's like, no, people use it for parties. People use it for decorations and stuff. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be amazing if the public school system were able to, just how we have these lights up here, if we can add another light that with a different flip of the switch, turn it on before the janitors come in, cleanse the room of the flu virus, turn it back off, and then we'll go about the cleaning. It's less harmful for children, for anyone who is either cautious or not sure of of like basic medicine or chemicals, as well as it's something that can help children stay in school longer. Because during this time that I found out when I was having this idea, many children were out of school because of the flu. So I figured it's a win-win. Schools get more children in their classes, and less children, as well as doctors are able to keep the children out of the hospitals and doctors' offices for the flu.
Blackstone investors, Michelle and Nicole, will be available after our panel, just saying. It's wonderful. It's so inspiring to hear all these great ideas. And I can tell you, from the ideas competition, we just received so many impressive and inspiring and thoughtful and creative and smart submissions. So very competitive and really just wonderful to see how students performed. It was great. President, would you talk a little bit about MDC and the diversity of the student body, where you have such a variety of where students are in their lives, where they are geographically, where they come from? How does entrepreneurship resonate across that diversity, and how are you able to connect to people in so many different ways?
So I think, the diversity of the college is really reflective of our community. Our 120,000 students across 8 campuses, 167 countries represented, 43 languages spoken. But I think the one thing that unites every one of our students is the belief that through the power of education, there is hope for tomorrow. And so in every student that I meet, whether they graduated recently from Miami-Dade County or whether they arrived within the last year into our country, they're coming because in a way they want to launch from Miami-Dade College to what they do next. Whether it's learning English to get the job, whether it's studying to get ready their first 60 credits and then going to FIU, or whether it's, majoring in nursing and becoming a nurse. And I think that it's meeting students where they are and then creating really a support system around them that starts in our classroom with really world-class faculty. The faculty at Miami-Dade College, while the faculty at universities are recognized for research as they should, for us it's about service learning, student outcomes. Through our Change Making Institute, our students get an opportunity to become change makers, to think about how can they solve the world's problems. What are the problems in front of us, and how do we create change makers that are serving our community, not just by creating ideas, but also by taking action, whether it's the environment, whether it's any of the areas that they're passionate about. So that also is part of the Idea Center and entrepreneurship. And then I think the other aspect of our students, and you talked a little bit about it, the average age is 26. So, when we think about what we do with Goldman Sachs, what we do with Scale Up, always supporting small businesses, that sometimes business owners are our students. And they're here trying to connect to additional skill sets that they need to be able to scale their business, to be able to grow their business, and in many cases, start their business with that idea. And so at the college, I think, again, we don't get overwhelmed by the numbers and think to ourselves, a student is a number. A student is a person that comes with the aspiration of hope, and still with that number of students, average class size is 24. So our faculty really get to know our students and are really inspirations themselves when we think about our own faculty, where they've come from, and many times also entrepreneurs and ideas and creating and generating ideas. And so it's through that power of education, it's through a support ecosystem, and now we're excited with LaunchPad because what this investment does, it's a point of validation. And I would say to the Blackstone team, it is so critical when business leaders say, we care enough about you, this ecosystem, to invest and give our name. And what it does is it validates that all of a sudden you're part of the Blackstone LaunchPad, right? And your shoulders perk up you got more confidence, you can be part of this network. And so I think at the college, that's critical for us as we carry out our mission to be democracy's college.
In addition to entrepreneurship, you've also talked about the importance of on-the-job learning and internships. And as we, Blackstone and LaunchPad, think about entrepreneurship skills as great aids for those who want to start a business, but also those choosing more traditional career paths. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of internships, what students get out of it, and how entrepreneurship skills play into that?
So, I have always been a very, very strong supporter and believer in how internships and mentoring magnify the learning experience of our students. Similar to Miami-Dade College, about 50% of our students are Pell eligible students, 50%. So these are the neediest students that we have at our institutions. And yet, we produce wonderful graduates. And we are seeing more and more recognition in rankings based upon social and economic mobility. Let's face it, in many ways it's easy to take students that come from families of wealth and privilege and produce a graduate, but when you take in students that don't have those foundations and still produce a graduate, that really is a testament to the value of our institutions, the quality of our faculty, the quality of our staff, and importantly, the quality of our communities that support our students. Just like having a faculty mentor is very, very important to student success in the classroom, having a mentor in the workplace is also very, very important. And I personally believe that doing more internships more frequently will really improve the entire process. A lot of students will want to do it at the very, very end, but they benefit more by doing it throughout. And I think when I was reading Nicole's bio, you did an internship at Hershey one year, then you did one at Disney, the second year, and it's multi-purpose in doing it. Number one, it aligns us more closely with industry and business and the community in terms of work skills that are required for today, so we can revamp and improve our curriculum and always modernize it. That's going to be constantly changing, so that continuous feedback, that continuous dialogue is very, very important. And secondly, I think the students gain because after their first year at Miami-Dade or first year at FIU, they're taking courses, trying to apply that initial information in with industry, in with employers, really helps them appreciate the educational process. So they learn better in their subsequent courses because they are now applying what they learned in the workforce to the classroom setting. So there are many, many benefits of that type of dialogue with our industry partners and our faculty mentors at our universities and colleges. This is just another tool, as I mentioned. You need those training opportunities because it really is not something that people just automatically do, and I'm sure even when you're going to find out with your ideas, there are so many great ideas, but bringing those to fruition really does require that additional skill set that we can accomplish through this program and similar types of programs. And it really does bring the product to fruition, bring the innovation to fruition. So there are great ideas, but if you can't bring it home, if you can't make it happen, we are not better off. And if you just watch some of like Shark Tank, how many of these, they're always turned down, it's never going to work, you're never going to see it happen, and lo and behold, you see it happen to the tune of multiple millions of dollars. So we respect and appreciate everything that you're doing to help our students, and students that oftentimes have not come from backgrounds where they have built-in mentors, so that they have built-in examples of education and job and innovation.
Great. Well, Nicole, that's a perfect tee up for you to tell us about your experience at both Hershey's and Disney and how the entrepreneurship skills that you have helped you through that and what that experience was like.
When I first did the Hershey internship, I was actually the first Hershey internship they ever launched. So I was part of the ground floor for them. So obviously there were little mistakes down the road on their part and my part, sadly. But, we live and we learn. Basically there they wanted to teach me something that was towards my major, which is marketing. I was able to work with the Hershey company on how they market their resort, Hershey Entertainment, as well as their theme park, Hershey Park. I did work in the theme park, but on 2 times a week, we'd always be off of work so we can work with the management, and that was something I really enjoyed. I was even able to meet one of the head of marketing for the Pepsi company, because Pepsi and Hershey have a tie-in together for the theme park, and I was amazed the amount of stuff that she was able to tell me about just something as simple as going to the Super Bowl. That's something I would love to strive for. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, I more or less, for the Hershey company, I try to offer some of my ideas. When it came to things like, maybe we should have a height chart for the children, like a specially made one. Or if anything, maybe there'd be different lines for people if they want to go to to the front of the line versus the back of the coaster, given some of our coasters. Some of the ideas did take, other the ideas not so much. I'm just happy enough to know that they did stick with the kitty height chart that I suggested. So that's somewhere there. But more of my entrepreneur side actually came with the Disney College program. So luckily for me, which again I say lucky, I was placed to work as a bellhop for the Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios. That one, that was an experience. More or less just to not only make sure children were not afraid to ride the ride, but also because I was able to interact with so many different types of families, people with disabilities, people from different nations. And it was truly an amazing thing, because I was able to see where different priorities versus different disabilities lie. Something as simple as a parent not wanting to wait, sadly, an hour in line versus a parent who cannot wait an hour in line due to their child having ADHD. And I was able to help them out in those different ways. But the true fashion that I was able to find in for entrepreneurship actually didn't even happen at the theme parks. It happened at the area where they assigned us to live. They have this new place called Flamingo Crossing where they put all the DCPs, as we call ourselves, to live for the duration of our program. One of the things that Disney, again, no hate to Disney, but we do work very long hours, sometimes even to 3 a.m. if it's a specialty event for whether it be someone who rented out the park or for Disney Vacation Club. And at times, I think most of you know, when you come from a long day of work, the last thing you want to do is cook. And the last thing you want to do is also buy junk food because it's either unhealthy and it's a waste of money. Sadly, we barely had those options because since Flamingo Crossing was just a new area, we had no fast food areas in the entire surrounding of Disney, and the McDonald's that was there sadly wasn't open until I believe 10 p.m. So we were all hungry. My suggestion was, at least to my building that I was in, was to create a group chat. I love cooking, and sometimes I would cook. I only know how to make a huge tray of lasagna, but I'll only probably finish a quarter of it because I'm just me. So what I'll do is I started a group chat saying, hey, if anybody wants my leftovers from this time, just come to my apartment. I'm okay with giving them out. And then, to my amazement, people did obviously want my leftovers, but then it kind of carried on. Hey, I made a tuna casserole. Does anybody want a piece of this? And then we'll take that. So then what will happen is instead of modifying our recipes to make it for a single person, we would just keep the recipe the same. Half of it would go towards us. The other half could go towards the person who needs it, which limits to us not wasting food as well as helping another cast member in need. Because you can go to any cast member or more or less any DCP, and they will tell you we are a family. We all have to stick together when it comes to this. We also have to make our voices heard in these certain matters. Obviously, we have talked to Disney about these hours, but what can we do? We're still fighting that fight. But this is just a small way that we can help one another when it comes to it. And at least as far as I know, from one of my friends who lives in that building Edna, if anybody wants to know, they are still using that technique. It has not gone to the whole campus because there was at least 30 to 40 buildings there. But at the very least, I know it's on my building that I used to live in and the building next to us. So if anything, that's my one mark that I left at Disney that still stays today.
And a great use of your entrepreneurship skills.
Exactly.
And your neighbors are very lucky. That's wonderful.
They're well fed.
Yeah. Michelle, you're going to close out our panel. You just have such an amazing and inspiring story. You recently immigrated to this country. Tell us a little bit about what your professional hopes are for your future and how MDC is helping you get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like as I said before, I came in 2017, with dreams and finding opportunities, and education was a big part of the plan for it because I want to make my family proud, but make myself proud for the decision I was taking. And MDC was that open door for me. There is a whole team of professionals here at the Idea Center. We have Cici, we have Alejandro, we have Sandra, we have a whole team of professionals that are here to help us, to help the students. And what I found special about MDC is that it's part of your identity. Like you start MDC, and I'm going to graduate, I'm going to transfer very soon, and then I'm going to do my master's degree, and I'm going to do my PhD, I'm going to explore a bunch of other institutions, but I'm always going to be MDC because here's where I start. And I want to come here 5, 10, 20 years in the future and talk to the students and tell them, whatever you want to do is possible because you are in the right place, as I feel I am right now. So that's how I see myself in the future. That's why I'm always going to be so proud to say I start MDC. Also, Miami, I think, is a very special city. It's a very unique, diverse city. You get to have a taste of every place in the world, which is pretty amazing. And it also helps your entrepreneur skills because you get to know many different people and their culture and the background, but also their human side, which is at the end of the day what connects all of us. So yeah, that's how I see myself in the future.
And next, to close us out, we want to invite an alumni from FIU, Anna Barrera, to tell us a little bit about her experience. Anna?
My name is Anna Barrera, and I'm the founder and CEO of Succession Marketing, where we provide complete marketing services to small and corporate businesses. And I graduated from FIU back in 2020, and in over 2 years, I've been able to grow my business to a 5-figure business, and it's still growing, and I'm just getting started. So for current entrepreneurs, thank you. For current entrepreneurs, programs like Blackstone, and as a Hispanic female entrepreneur, these are, programs I highly recommend that you take advantage of. They have proven startup resources, networking events, mentors that have empowered me to build my business from the ground up. As I grew my business and hiring my team, I wanted to just give you some 3 takeaways that I've learned along the way during my entrepreneurship journey. The first one is you can do anything, but you can't do everything. My COO, Rolando, tells me this all the time. It's important that you are prioritizing the tasks that will move the needle in your business. Don't try to do everything all at once, and just take your time and prioritize those key things. Number 2, confidence comes from preparation. A major part of being confident in the work that you're doing is the preparation that you're doing behind the scenes. So it's never good. There's always a good time to start and think of what you want to start doing for your business. And then the last one is set your achievable goals through experience. Don't be scared of starting. You want to launch whatever it is that you're doing, tweak it, come back to the drawing board, and you do the rinse and repeat. You do it again and again, and every time you do it, you will learn, you will improve, and you'll get a better idea of what to expect. I want to leave you with this. Usually nothing worthwhile is ever a smooth road. Starting a business is always going to be challenging. Find comfort in the idea that if you fail or make a mistake, it's okay. Don't let that define you. And in fact, you should embrace it. Making the mistakes now will save you time in the future because you know what these mistakes are coming from. Know that failure is the price successful people pay, and it's never the end, and it's just a learning lesson. I encourage you to build your entrepreneurship skills as you move throughout your college and professional journey, and remember, entrepreneurial skills support you no matter what career path you take. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This was a beautiful program. We're very excited to announce that with this investment, we're going to be expanding the Idea Center a little bit more. And so our next campus for the Idea Center, thanks to the Blackstone LaunchPad investment, is going to be at our West Campus. And so you're going to be able to see that next year. So enjoy yourselves, and may you all have a wonderful holiday season.